Hello, fellow old schoolers. What we're about to see here is the second game in a mini series that has come out from a recent meeting in our playgroup. This time is a regular old school match between Henrik on the left here and Jens Ole on the right. And we'll take a few minutes to go over the decks here, and I'll put down a timestamp below as usual if these deck techs are not your thing. First up, we have Henrik's red and white tax edge aggro deck, and it is sort of like a hybrid between the Land's Edge deck and a regular, almost like a pink weenie or an aggro burn deck here. The creature base being the extremely cheap 2/1 Savannah Lions and the Iron Claw Orcs that are 2/2 and can't block for 2 mana. Then we have the Edwin Efreet. I have no idea what he's doing there. It might be for a lark. But yeah, he's a 3/6 creature that has trouble with blocking as well. I suppose he might hold the odd do some gen off every now and again. But other than these very fast beaters, we have a full playset of land tax and Land's Edge. And that's the tax edge part of the deck, where you can just get some additional lands with your land tax and then sink them into the Land's Edge for additional burn. And this is supplemented with a full playset of lightning bolts and chain lightnings. And Winds of Change can be used with the land tax because you can take all the cards you have in your hand, and those might be all the basic lands you get out of the land tax, and then shuffle them into your library and draw a new hand, with a high chance of trading those extra basic lands in your hand for even more burn and critters. So it is a draw engine for this aggro deck, along with the Wheel of Fortune. So we just have a heck of a lot of synergies here, and I do wonder why I've never seen such an idea done before. I mean, land tax and Armageddon, as said, are not that weird to use in a quick white deck, and using burn with a lot of small critters is just another way of putting the rush on the other guy, and having the ability to then use the land tax with Land's Edge for even more burn, and using it with Winds of Change for even more draw power. Well, it all adds up, doesn't it? So quite interesting. I'd really interested to brew something like this myself at some point, making a personal spin up on it, of course. But yeah, pretty interesting. And then we have a full playset of Black Wises and 3 copper tablets just to add to the burn and try to rush the opponent down. Here is Jens Ole's deck. It's called, or I've dubbed it, the MetaPunisher, focused against the usual top 8 decks in the format. I don't know about where you live, but in Denmark at least, there is definitely a pattern if it's not a spice tournament. And that means that the usual top dogs will be something like Fantasy Zoo, Lorto Zoo / Aggro Control, or the deck, stuff like that. Robots as well sometimes. So this deck is designed to punish what Jens Ole regards as a somewhat predictable top table. So here we have the Blood Moons against all the multicolored decks. We have the Energy Fluxen against the deck and robots. We also have 2 City in a Bottle against all the Arabian Night Zoos that are here. As for the creature base is a Mountain Yeti that has protection from white, I think, and it's a 3/3. Hang on, I'll find it and put it up here. Okay, it also has Mountain Walk. I suppose that synergizes well with all the Blood Moon's main deck, right? There are bound to be some mountains on the opposing side, so it's unblockable then. Then we have 3 Granite Gargoyles and a Shivan Dragon and 2 Ball Lightnings. The rest is just a lot of burn as a single Stone Rain against Library of Alexandria, perhaps, just for an extra out. So the theme of this deck will be to be able to employ cards that really just hoses the top dogs. And I kind of like that. I mean, if the meta is becoming a bit stale, well, it's up to us. I mean, all the players to make decks that just punishes it. And this is one attempt at such a endeavor. This deck actually won an online tournament where it made it into the top 4, and then it just kind of cracked heads with all its hate cards. So taking out a Lorto Zoo variant, then taking out the deck, and then meeting another Lorto Zoo variant in the finals and taking him out. In order to use that variant where you're primarily blue and white, has Serendipity Freeze and Savannah Alliance, counterspells, Sonic Blasts, and all the power. Sometimes you splash red with bolts and stuff like that. So without knowing the details, it's still pretty impressive that this deck could tangle with such established tier 1 archetypes in the format. But the problem is when he meets decks that aren't exactly these very, very strong tier 1 decks, because he'll have a lot of dead draws. So he wants to tweak it against more unusual setups. So he wanted this particular matchup because his opponent, Henrik here, has, as said, made quite a different kind of brew. So this is the MetaPunisher. Let's see how this plays out. So we have Tax Edge Aggro on the left here, and on the Electric Eels playmat is Jens Ole on MetaPunisher. Plateau coming out of Tax Edge, and a Lion turn 1. Okay, no mountain into a bolt. It's a factory instead. So I guess the Lion will do a quick bite here. Oh, an Iron Claw Orcs. Getting played with the City of Brass. Still nothing out of the MetaPunisher here. I was considering if he would play the balance or something, but no, 4 damage coming in here. And it's dangerous to block it with the factory against the City of Brass and the Plateau. They can just disenchant or destroy the factory. Yeah, it would set him back a land. So he takes the damage here. It is dangerous as well, though. There are no good choices here. Down to 14 points of life. Island coming out now. Needs to make stuff happen here, or he'll get overrun. Yeah, Granite Gargoyle, it'll likely get bolted, right? But I suppose it'll draw one of them. He could have waited, yeah, here's the bolt. He could have waited for an extra red mana, but then again, he can't really rate that much. That's 4 damage coming in. And with all the burn on top of it, another Lion. Man, this is just, yeah, as said, it resembles Pink Weenie almost. At least this game it does. Really, full speed ahead. Next turn it'll be 6 points of damage unless Jens Ole can make something happen here. Really recoiling from all the damage here. Ooh, Fireball. Yeah, okay. That was a good punch in. Fireballing both Lions away here. Guess he just waited for that 4th mana. Didn't really draw into any Moxen or anything that could have sped it up. But at least he has a 1 card advantage here. He is down at half life here. Blackwise coming in. And then the Iron Claw Orcs come over and swings with its rusty blade. Putting Intore down to 8 life. Another Granite Gargoyle. No second mountain to pump it into a 4 in toughness. So yeah, it'll get bolted again. I mean, if you don't bolt these Granite Gargoyles immediately, they'll be very, very hard to get rid of unless you have other means, because they can be pumped in toughness with red mana. Okay, there's a copper tablet coming down here, and then a bolt on the factory, blocking factory, so Ironclaw gets in. No, apparently it didn't. It was after block. He only took 1 point of damage, and that was from the copper tablet here. Now disenchant, no, taking that back, playing a Chaos Orb instead. Yeah, okay, just wanting the other guy to take some damage from that copper tablet as well. And I should take a point of damage. Yep. The copper tablet does 1 damage each turn to each player. Winds of Change here. Okay, as a fast effect, the copper tablet gets disenchanted by Jens Ole. Then they shuffle what cards they remain in hand into the library and draw as many cards again. I think Henrik only had 1 card. Okay, he drew into a factory, putting that down. Even more aggro coming out of him. 5 life left on Jens Ole and a Chaos Orb. 2 threats against him. I think he drew 4 cards. Okay, using the Chaos Orb here. And it didn't really rotate, but we just said that was okay. Then Sonic Blasting. This is a really speedy game. Sonic Blasting the Iron Claw Orcs. But I wanted to say that this is just a casual game, so whenever a flip is missed, it's fine. We just presume it's hit. But we still flip it because it's nice practice. Another Iron Claw getting out, and it's only down to 3 lives, so a single bolt will kill him here. Ooh, Chain Lightning in it here. Very important at the Henrik didn't have 2 red mana untapped, so he could have bounced that Chain Lightning back into Jens Ole and winning the game. Factory coming down here on Jens Ole's side. He needs to finish the game fast before there's a bolt. Attacking with activating the factory, and it gets disenchanted immediately. Yeah, Jens Ole really had no choice. He must attack here. He's up against 16 points of life. Giving it a good think. Seems like he has a counter spell, perhaps. Probably keeping that in hand to stop the next bolt coming out of Henrik. Okay, next try. Granite Gargoyle. The clock is ticking here. Oh, it's a lance tax, and then lance edge, and then sacrificing 2 lands in his hand, just burning Jens Ole for 4 points of damage here. No counterspell out of Jens Ole. That's the first round to tax edge aggro. Really a breathtaking onslaught here. Some quick 1 and 2 drops, critters, just overwhelming Jens Ole, and followed up by a lot of burn and removal, and that final Lance Edge getting played there so that Henrik could dump his excess lands into damage. I really like that Winds of Change as well. Seems kind of nice in a deck with so much burn and so many critters as well. So we'll brace for round number 2 here. And we see a hand with no mana on Jens Ole here, and actually, yeah, both players are mulliganing here, down to 6 cards. Need to discard 1 here, out of those 7 they drew. Okay, what do we have? A Library of Alexandria on the opening hand. That seems to be the only mana. I don't think he can keep that either. No, there's another mulligan, but luckily Henrik is mulliganing as well, so both are mulliganing down to 5 cards at this point, really becoming increasingly vulnerable here. Okay, seems like Jens Ole is keeping, both are keeping here, mulliganing down to 5 cards, playing a factory, only 4 cards left in the hand of Jens Ole. Oh, there's a Winds of Change so early. 2 islands, Sonic Blast and a Fireball on the hand, so we'll shuffle again. And both players will have 4 cards in hand at this point. It is rather frisky to cast a Winds of Change because he knows that Jens Ole has kept the hand that he wants to keep. So now the dice are rolled again for a new hand. Okay, mucks into a Granite Gargoyle, but then Jens Ole realized, hey, I forgot to draw a card. And then, yeah, he drew into a Shiva Dragon, so just exploding with the Shiva Dragon turn 2 with that Black Lotus. Okay. Catch. So Henrik is, I think this is the worst situation you could have had, because he only has 4 cards in hand and has just made a Winds of Change, so he can't even mulligan the hand he draws. Neither player can, so just a really, really lucky Winds of Change for Jens Ole here. And you don't have a lot of time with the Shivan Dragon unanswered until it's curtain call. Here it comes for getting boosted with Fire Breathing for 8 points of damage here. We need another mountain and a double bolt from Henrik. I don't think he plays with Swords to Plowshares in his deck. With another mountain, but not a double bolt. Coming over again for 8 points of damage here. Factory keeping back home. Probably reckons if he attacks with the factory that, okay, he forfeits the game here. Didn't draw into an answer. Probably reckons if he had attacked with the factory, he would just get stripped. So might as well just pump the Shivan Dragon. So just a really quick turnaround here. 2 mulligans and an opening Winds of Change into a Shivan Dragon Black Lotus play, and then just crushing before anything else happened. So it's 1-1 at this point. Tax Edge Aggro must be on the play here, right? Yeah. Okay, starting off with a land tax here. That's good. We're both in an aggro deck, especially with Armageddons and Critters, and also good, obviously, with the Land's Edge. Nice combo piece. Also good with the Winds of Change. So, yeah. I don't think Henrik will play a land here. No, he's just keeping back because he wants the MetaPunisher to play another land so he can activate the land tax. And he can function just fine with a single planes. Yeah, he has to play a land, so now the land tax can be activated. Insole didn't have a bolt, it seems, so he playing that factory just to at least pose a threat to the Savannah Lion. Okay, 2 plains and a mountain being land taxed for here. I think that's my hand. Yeah, okay, we're discussing artwork and differences, I think, between the editions. Just nerding out. Hang on, I'll just skip forward a bit. Okay, strip mining the factory here, and the lion comes over, attacking for 2. So it resembles a bit the first game, but there's a land tax as well, but just removal and small critters in the opening rounds here from Tax Edge Aggro. Another factory coming out, replacing the other one. So I guess it draws removal out at least, but it does send Insole back a land drop each time Tax Edge does something like this. Land Edge hasn't played another land, so he can actually activate the land tax again because Insole is forced to play that factory. Doesn't seem to choose to. Okay, and Iron Claw Orcs again. So the usual suspects from the first round here. Okay, a 3rd factory coming down. So the defenses are in place for Insole. And we've got to remember that he must be drawing some dead draws as well. I mean, the City in a Bottle at this point, or Blood Moon, won't really help him. And neither will an Energy Flux at this point, actually. Though the Land Edge does have factories of his own. Okay, blocking with the... He attacks with both, and... Yeah, okay, Insole tries to block one of them, it gets disenchanted. And they both get in. Seems like he tried to block the Iron Claw Orcs. Ooh, another factory from Land Edge Aggro here. Just a new creature each turn. And a removal spell as well. 2nd Volcanic Island, so now we have 4 counter spell online. It becomes apparent that Insole needs to survive the early game here to stand a chance. He needs to try to get in with some of his big beaters later on. Okay, here they come, 6 points of damage. And there's the plateau untapped, ready for a bolt. Question is, does Insole wants to sacrifice his final factory here? Might have a Sonic Blast here. Looks like it. Yeah, okay. Blasting the Iron Claw Orcs, taking 4 points of damage from the creatures and 2 points of damage from his own Sonic Blast. But so it's 6 points of damage no matter which way you cut it. But still makes sense. He needs to get rid of some of these small creatures. Plateau coming down now. It's 4 mana here. Surprises me a bit that he Sonic Blast the Iron Claw Orc instead of the factory. But perhaps he has a disenchant in hand. Okay, this time Land Edge activates the land tax again. He only has 3 lands and the other guy has 4. So it's just a nice way to pack some cards in his hand before Winds of Change so that he can get a full new hand. He can also use it with Armageddons, and he can, as said, use it with Land Edge. Okay, taking a mountain here. Okay, that seems to be the only one. I I think he has a full hand and he doesn't want to discard a lot of basic lands because he holds back quite a bit with that land tax. Some people really just use the heck out of it, and I think that's viable as well. Anyway, here the lion comes and the factory. He tries to block the factory. There's a bolt, but the bolt gets countered. Then the factory pumps itself. Wonder what it blocked. Okay, it blocked the factory. So the factory becomes a 3/3 creature. The lion still gets in though. But at least he drew a lightning bolt from Henrik, so that's 3 less damage to the dice of him. Okay, the mountain getting played here. Henrik is still on 3 lanes now, so he can still activate the land tax next turn if he wants to. And definitely now, there's an island. Okay, let's see if Henrik can keep the removal up. It's only being down to 6 points of life here. But he's soon within range of the Shivan Dragon. Granite Gargoyle would be great as well. There's 3 mountains, so it can really stop a lot of these critters if it gets played now. Okay, attacking each turn. Here comes a lion. Factory defending. Ooh, lightning bolting the factory. Do we have another counterspell here? It would be worth it. Or fork, perhaps. Forking the lightning bolt down on the lion. He's giving it a good think. I wonder what he's considering here. I think if he has a counterspell, he should use it. Perhaps he's afraid. No, okay, he's Sonic Blasting the lion instead. Yeah, okay, electing to take 2 points of damage from the Sonic Blast instead of taking 2 points of damage from the lion. Makes sense. Ooh, Copper Tablet coming down here. And then it's passing the turn. So putting his shoulder down within bolt range again. 3 life left, man. There's the Mountain Yeti. 3/3 Mountain Wall, protection from white. That's a pretty rare sight as well. Yeah, okay, Henrik taking some damage from his own Copper Tablet here. And there's some orcs coming out, but they're only 2/2. That Yeti is a 3/3, as said. It's already down to 2 points of life here. Ooh, okay. A huge ball lightning crackling down here with a 6/1 trample. Doing a bunch of damage on Henrik, putting him down to 13 points of life here. We need a quick comeback out of Jens Ole if he's to make this. What's that? Another lion getting countered. Yeah, I think Henrik is down to top deck mode here. Jens Ole getting down to 1 card. He needs to get rid of that Copper Tablet. Oh, it's game. Next turn. Yeah, okay, Wheel of Fortune. Suppose he didn't have an out. Okay, there was a black wise and a couple of lands on the hand of Henrik. Problem is now Henrik has a full hand and he might have a bolt, right? Something. Chaos Orb, okay. So he can Chaos Orb the Copper Tablet. He could wait until Henrik takes the damage, but it's probably a better choice to do it now. Because if there's a disenchant, that's all that matters. So he doesn't want to give Henrik another chance, another draw. This needs to hit. And it does. But in reality, even if it missed, we would probably allow it anyway. So, okay, Copper Tablet gone. 2 red mountains up there. And Zola doesn't have double blue, so doesn't have counter magic here. Being at 1 life, but getting rid of that Copper Tablet just in the nick of time. And that Yeti is holding the Iron Claw back. Now the question is, does Henrik have a burn spell here? The odds are with him, right? Oh, another Copper Tablet. Yeah, that's as good as a burn spell. And then a Winds of Change. Surprised he does this, but I suppose he just wants to get even more attack paths in, so he might draw into a bolt here. And then Jens Ole both needs to. Yeah, he could disenchant the Copper Tablet, but he can't really counter. So just a bolt here will end it. Chain Lightning. Yeah, can't do anything. Okay. Tax Edge Aggro takes a final match with some flashy Winds of Change play at the end of the round here, after some very early aggression. So it seems like it really packs a wallop, this Tax Edge aggro deck. Next up, I heard Skynet has its bionic eyes set on this particular Tax Edge aggro deck, so we will see what will happen in that bout coming up after this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.